What you looking at, camera? Hi there. Oh, you were confused for a second. You thought you were still supposed to be looking. No, you're supposed to be looking over here. Hi there, everyone. I'm Chef JT. Happy to see you back. Welcome back. Okay, let's see here. One of the best things I hate this year, not me, I'm reading chat, was pappardelle with duck ragu. Oh, 8. Okay. Okay. That's much better. We don't want much hate here in chat. Hating is not good. I like to hate, but we don't want hate in chat. I don't know what necessarily goes great with a pasta. And I don't know that I really have a solid plan on what type of pasta to make. I was sort of just thinking I was going to scrunch them into being sort of like, was it farfalle? We'll do squares and just pinch them. I don't want to go, like, I want something that catches sauce and holds up, but I'm not interested in doing noodles tonight. Yeah, bow ties. That's essentially what I'm not thinking of being... I'm thinking about doing it quick and proper, quick and dirty, I guess. I'm not going to be making perfectly folded little ones. I'm just going to scrunch them, I think. Duck confit is a process of cooking the duck in its own fat. It's not like it's another ingredient that I could add to it. And since we're working with the duck I already made for Thanksgiving, I can't really recook it without it turning into sawdust. But confit does get, like... It's another one of those terms that's getting more and more abused. Even though it still means cooked in its own fat. Like, people are really pushing that one. Hey, Soph. Hello, Nan Reader. Welcome in, JK. 4T. Welcome, Will Poker. Catching up on my hellos at the beginning of stream here. Hopefully everyone has had a great holiday. You're back home safe. Or you're hopefully not traveling today, because I guess today was supposed to be like the busiest day for travel. Oh, hush, kettle. Oh, but the question is who's Philly cheesesteak? I guess there was a big hubbub about that because they decided to give Bib Gourmand awards, Michelin did, to a couple of Philly cheesesteak spots. And of course, you know, that's not going to be contentious at all. You know, people don't have their favorite Philly cheesesteaks sub-stores, do they? Shops? What is there a Philadelphia cheesecake? I mean, they make all the cream cheese, so, I mean... Sometimes I wonder about that connection between my brain and my mouth. Hey, but still I'm here. Are you working tonight? Not yet. Are you even on? I don't think I turned you on. There we go. GoPro wasn't on. We'll give that a moment to wake up. And for the OBS to realize it exists. I might have to refresh it. Oh, it's working. Okay. I think large is the wrong word. Perhaps overly complex? Like, you're not really putting sizes on things here. We're not talking about how big of a plate it is. It's a dinner menu, and it could be bite size. But still, I don't know if I want spaghetti and rice in the same meal. And regardless of how you feel about that, I appreciate you joining me tonight. Cheers to everyone in chat. Okay, what do we get started with here? I think we need to get tomatoes stewing, and I think we need to get dough started. Let's start with dough. Let's do dough first. I'm not going to do straight durum flour tonight. Yeah, I guess you'll work. You're a little small for making pasta, but it'll happen. Probably didn't need to do this. It's pretty close to a cup here. Yeah, we're going to call that a quarter cup. AP flour. Did you put a dinner in chat and I not even see it? Oh, I have some simple syrup on the stove that was left over from doing stuff for the hummingbirds, and I haven't figured out what to do with it yet. Let's do them separate. Egg was happy to see us. Double O flour is the standard for making pizza dough. But if you watch me, you know I don't even make pizza dough most of the time. I would say it's crucial for having a proper old school pizza, especially if you're going for a thinner crust style pizza. There are plenty of good recipes out there that I've done before that use even just AP flour. So it's a matter of what you're after. You can make good pizza without it, but it's not going to be like pizza. Like, you're not going to get the same rise, you're not going to get the same flavor out of your dough, you're not going to get the same bake out of it. But is it going to end the world? No. I mean, you got people making pizzas out of cauliflower these days. Scrambles, stumping you. Let's see how we're going with that. Hi, Zeeks. Welcome, Muskeg. Sorry, I missed your check-in earlier. That is in the ballpark of where we want things. I think we're gonna go with a bit of olive oil and water from there. Not fancy olive oil. Maybe I was wrong. I just soaked that all up and said, more please. Let's give that one more push here, make sure it wasn't just all liquid in one spot, maybe? No? I think we got it, though. We'll go with that. Gonna make me Google it. Italian word for wheels can both refer to pasta shapes. They're the wheel pasta. Because I don't have an extruder wheel to make wheels. Or I don't have an extruder die to make wheels. There's an industry that I don't get. Like, I understand for the big time restaurants and stuff like that that can afford a machine with like a custom die for themselves. And I can understand high-end machinery needing these nice dies. But there is just a ginormous like artisan market of people that are just like collecting pasta dies. And I just don't understand that one. Like, you're not going to make that much pasta in your life. Why do you have 300 different dies? You have a different die for every day of the year. Well, that one we can really get into being too large, because you were talking about bento boxes with like entrees in them. We'll let that sit and hang out for a bit. We'll put it back in the same bowl. Let that hang out for a bit. I'm just letting the dough rest. I'm not really doing much there. It's not proofing. There's no yeast or anything going on there. Absolutely. Soups are great. What about fried rice? Fried rice, you can do all sorts of different themes and all sorts of foods. You can do all sorts of themes and foods with pizza if you want to reinvent things.
Just 3 small onions. That's all. Yeah, even with that, like you can mess with different grains or different veggies that you're making the pizza out of, and then on top of it. Same thing with soups. Mexican food. Subway. I'm surprised you're not asking ChatGPT, or I shouldn't even say ChatGPT. Like, that business is doomed, sort of. I actually honestly suspect. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they are going to survive or not. They're certainly being put up to be the sacrificial lamb of the industry. Like, on the other hand, they are already the Kleenex of LLMs. I think we're only going to do half this onion, even though I started cutting the other half. This is more than enough onion for this project. Oh yeah, I would say there's almost as many or more soups and pastas and things that are in soup than there are pastas. Like, because I'm doing the white bean soup tomorrow. I've got those beans already soaking, so you got beans and not just pasta. You can put potatoes, you can do all sorts of across the board in starches and soups. I decided over the weekend, I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm hoping to get the motivation to get up. I got really good sleep in, not last night, but the night before. And I got a decent night's sleep in last night. And the difference in my mental clarity, my functioning, my ability to do stuff is like night and day between when I get a good night's sleep. And it's made me just, like, I gotta go, like, probably gonna end up with one of those machines while I'm sleeping. Why couldn't they be? You're writing this thing. I don't know. I don't even know what you're working on. Do I have a flame on under this oil, or did I just put oil over here? Oh, we got a flame on underneath that. Salt. I mean, the pizza one is super easy. You just have to look at a pizza restaurant menu. You know, they've all got their list of ingredients and their couple types of dough that they have, and alternatives to cheese or sauce or whatever. And you can use a lot of those same ones to cross over. Mini. As many, you can make all sorts of crusts out there. You might have to, that's almost the differentiator between pizza restaurants is the crusts that they make. But most of them have a couple. With the pinky. Oh, you want to go to California Pizza Kitchen then? Well, actually, I don't know. Spago's probably got some decent high-end pizzas. I don't know if they I don't know what's on Spago's menu really anymore, but they used to do pizza, I think. Where else really high? There's got to be New York places. Nor am I. Like, California Pizza Kitchen has a duck recipe on their they have a Peking duck pizza, I think. Tomatoes going in. Whole tomatoes. We're gonna mash them. Hopefully I didn't mash them into myself. Duck confit can go on just about anything you want to put duck on. It's just a way that duck has been prepared. Add in dried oregano. Garlic powder. Let me see, this thing's probably got safety seal. Pizza Hut used to sell apple and cherry dessert pizzas. Not, there were two different pizzas. Yeah. So like Baskin Robbins. If Baskin Robbins had decent ice cream. Or served it in decent portions. I don't know, it's been... I honestly cannot remember the last time I was in Baskin Robbins. In that, I don't remember ever being in them. I just remember those complaints from just about everyone. Yeah, it's too small and they're... Let's do a little, let's add a little heat to this. With a little red pepper flake again. Obviously, we're not talking serious heat here. Oh, it depends. Like, you're gonna have purists that are like, only you can only put buffalo milk mozzarella on my pizza, you know. And there's people out there that enjoy cheeseburger pizzas with like American or cheddar on them, or buffalo wing pizzas with blue cheese, or
I would say it's more of a themed pizzas can have other cheeses, but it's not a typical thing. So many questions. It's almost like you haven't had pizza before. I turned the flame off there because it got too rambunctious, and put it back under a medium-low flame. And we're going to add a little freeze-dried basil in here too. And we're going to wipe the tomato sauce off of the side of the refrigerator here. As far as I'm concerned, the difference between provolone and mozzarella is the size that it's produced in, or shape that it's produced in. Like, I think of provolone as like sandwich cheese. I think that's more of a, if you're putting sheets of mozzarella, I'm not a big fan of that, no. I'm actually more of a fan of like chunks or slices or pieces of mozzarella. So you have like, you get into the people that are serious about pizza, and this isn't necessarily me so much, but you're asking. And so high-end pizzas are all about the perfect mix. You know, you've got some tomato, you got some cheese, you got some pepperoni, and you know, you can't all have all of it in one spot. Alright, we're gonna let this, I'm gonna add a little water to this. We're gonna let this cook. Yeah. Cheat. Next, we deal with leftover duck. Which, I didn't eat a lot of duck. I'm going to start by removing the skin as best we can here, because I want to take this fat and render it out.
nice large pieces of fat. Cooking into the rest of our sauce. I'll be here tomorrow. We're making soup tomorrow, and I think I'm going to do breadsticks with it, because we're going to have to hang out for a bit while that is doing its thing. I was thinking more Pizza Hut style, though I'm not going to do it in a cast iron pan. That's not a horrible idea. I do like a nice crusty bottom to my breadsticks. It's not bad on a pizza either. You know, Detroit style pizzas, good stuff. Get that nice crunchy oily crust that Pizza Hut pan pizza wishes it was. Olive Garden breadsticks are, I would say, pretty much the standard for American breadsticks. They're essentially just garlic salt a little bit, soft white bread, maybe a bit of a crust without not much. I think, well, Olive Garden, like, it sells itself as an Italian restaurant, but for years now, Olive Garden has essentially existed because of the soup and salad, unlimited soup and salad. It was in the same ballpark as Red Lobster, where they had to keep doing salad and soup for the lunchtime crowd in order to keep themselves going. So much so that they were sponsored by the Salad Association of America to pump salads. They're not really, I don't really think of them as an Italian restaurant, to be honest. Like, they sell salad, breadsticks, and soup, and then they have some pastas. You could do Swiss cheese on a pizza if it was the right, like... Trying to think of classic... Honestly, trying to think of classic sandwiches. Because they've basically turned just about any major sandwich there is into a pizza. Speaking of that, I should do a Cubano pizza. Same thing. Like, 90% of it is going to be tomato, simple, fresh tomato sauce. But you can have anything under the sun. I'm cooking this with the fat both to render the fat down into the sauce, but also to... I mean, we've already cooked the duck. If you're going to do a ragu from scratch, yeah, you're going to have that duck meat in there for a long time, simmering and breaking down. This is more, we're going to add it in towards the end and just enough to bring it all together when we've already got the rest of the sauce in there with the fat from now. Since we're doing this into a ragu, I am doing this mostly with the green, which is sort of counterintuitive from normal slicing. But that's because I want the strands. I want it to break down. I want it... If it's the right pizza. I don't think I've made duck pizza myself. I certainly ate a few of them from said California Pizza Kitchen. Back when I lived in LA, they were a not horrible option for midday salads. They do salads too, by the way. I used to go to California Pizza Kitchen to get salads. I'm just now realizing, like, I know we sort of did it for the pandemic, but even without the pandemic included, we've sort of gotten rid of a fair number of the fresh food product, like, options. Like, Subway is doing mostly pre-made stuff. The supermarkets all closed their salad bars during the pandemic. Some of them are back open. Some of them are not. And then you had, like, there was chains around here. Like, I forget the name of it, but there used to be a soup and salad chain here that went under. And there was one when I was living in Phoenix that was different, entire chain that was soup and salad buffet. They're not around anymore either. Oh, we're back to camera. I even made sure of that over the break that they were set right, and it just still keeps defaulting. I don't know how to get it to switch back now. I guess I have to go back and complain to Logitech on Reddit that their previous fix that they told me no longer works. Because they updated their software. Don't know, Splits. Beginning to wonder if Splits is one of these North Korean operatives trying to sneak into the U.S. through the internet, steal our money, knowledge. Apparently that's actually a thing. I know that from articles they've been stealing all sorts of cryptocurrency and stuff. I have a feeling that's probably everywhere though, but they get the bad rap because they're the closed state. Oh, I forgot to wipe down I said I was going to wipe down the refrigerator and then I never did. Get this tomato sauce off of the fridge. That was impressive. Going from... That was rather impressive going from here all the way over here. I'm just mostly waiting here until I think we've got a fair amount of the fat on there. We're not going to render all the fat out of this, but I do want to... Well, are these big enough that I can just leave these in here? Because with the meat, it's going to be really hard to find these. I don't want to necessarily leave the giant hunks of skin in there. Not sure what to do there. I guess we'll let it cook and we'll start working on pasta. Hi there. Do I get an advisor credit on this menu development program? Yeah. Or you could just substitute the... Well... Nope, that needs to be thinned down a bit more. We'll roll this out a bit more. Lost some dough. Getting there. recently got informed of a new cookbook being made, and they're looking for people from their community to just essentially write it for them. And I'm sitting there looking at this and I'm like, why does anyone think this is going to be a legitimate thing once it's done? Like, they're talking about a serious production as far as making this, but it's not even going to be a actual cookbook. It's going to be a e-zine. I'm just so confused. Like, in the day and age where we're finding that there's actually news articles out there saying that no one's using recipe blogs anymore because of ChatGPT. Oops, let this go a little too far. We're okay though. We be okay there. Let's see. Let's take a couple of these bigger pieces of fat back out now. Absolutely. To garnish in mini soups, like herb oil or pepper oil or saffron oil or... Let's add a bit more water in with this, actually, rather than pull the fat out. Let's just keep cooking. And going back to the cookbook thing, like, it's not just that they're looking for people to help out with a cookbook, which, for the group they're doing it with, I might be interested in helping out. But they've got, like, a laundry list. Like, they're looking for people to, like, do a job for them. Like, they're looking to a volunteer crowd to do professional photos. And I'm just like, why is anyone doing this for free? Dough's starting to look nice here. Beating it into submission with the rollers. Even more so, I don't think it's an actually official thing with the group that they're working with. Like, it's got people that are, like, closely linked, but, like, I don't know. I am not a dictionary of recipes. I'm here to chat. I think I'm here to chat and hang out. And, yeah. Alright, so we got pasta rolled out. Now we got to cut this into shapes that we can use for our project. Tighten down the screws to lock it. Splits, if you want serious help with developing something, I would be happy to work with you on it. But I'm not going to continue to sit here and answer 101 questions when you're just being cagey and it seems like the only thing you're interested in is my answers to your questions. Hi, Ozzy. Actually, let's do all of these. But we're going to cut this way. Bit of excess here. Then we'll resize these a little bit wider if we're going the other direction. So they're a bit wider in one direction than the other. Awesome, Switz. Yeah, I'm curious to see what you're working on. Like, I understand potentially being a kid and you don't want to tell the world what you're working on. It's a world where things can get stolen really quickly. Before you even know it. Alright, so these, now we just pinch them. And like I said, I'm not going to be fancy about it. We're just doing like that. Not trying to do a perfect 5 fold on the thing. Alright, back over here to this loveliness. Okay, we're going to take the fat out of here now. And add the duck in. Alright, so we got most of that out of there. Now let's add our duck in to the sauce. And a second ingredient, our leftover duck stock. Now we let that all cook together. This is not the gravy. This is not the, we don't have the hazelnut oil in here like we did for our gravy. This is just the leftover stock. Gravy's gone already. Let's get some water going for cooking our pasta too. Throw it in there. Let's just throw it in the sink. There should be enough room in here. There's nothing but a plate and a couple of bowls. Stay. Water's so loud pouring. Thank you, Musk. Yeah. I certainly hope so. What are you doing here still? Syrup. Wasting space. And going bad because I don't know what to do with you. I already don't want to eat you, but I'm still okay giving you the birds. Yeah. I think that's going to be sexy once it gets all up to 10. I was talking earlier about extruders. I don't think many people in chat may know or understand, or I primarily only do cheap pasta as far as my pastas. You have all sorts of other pastas like spaghettis and stuff like that you have a machine pushing through a die almost like you're grinding something. And that's impossible for me to really do without having the dies and the setup. And like I said, there's this weird culture, this weird subculture of the world that just collects all sorts of pasta dies. I'm just like, why? Pick a couple favorites and move on. Gotta have them all. Then again, people collect shoes, so the shoe thing even is weirder to me, actually. Like, I understand the people want to make money at it. There is a collector's market for shoes and a resale market for having those unmarred, perfect, unscuffed from 20 years ago. Or when you were in high school, whenever that was. The part of it that I don't get is, like, one of the people that I know from, like, I don't know if it was high school or what point of school it was, I knew Ben from. But he was just a massive basketball fan and was collecting shoes just to collect shoes. And can someone enlighten me? Is there a shoe collector in chat that can be like, oh, I do it because of this? That it makes sense? Because, I mean, I've never been much more than a bandwagon basketball fan at best. Go Golden State. Why is the stove camera off focus again? Ugh. That was a rough one, dad joke. That was a rough one. In poor taste. What's everyone else eating for dinner tonight? Anything exciting? Everyone eating leftovers, turkey soup? I mean, I already got some beautiful photos of several soups in the Discord. Beautiful turkey gumbo. Other unnamed turkey and noodle soups. We have any moist maker enjoyers in chat? With the abundance of rolls and turkey around, I'm surprised there isn't more like hot open turkey sandwich adaptations. Surprised there isn't like a traditional after turkey hot brown like dish. Ooh. Caught that one with my shoe, but that means it goes in the trash. It's turkey. Yeah, but it's not a hot brown. Over leftovers already. Wow. Welcome in Dinner with Mom. getting there. We're down to the last quarter or so here of our scrunching, making sort of homemade bow ties. I know I said I wasn't going to try for perfect ones, but I'm still trying to do decent ones. I don't know why. But I am. Ah, but does turkey gumbo have bacon? Or bechamel? Or is it it's probably a Mornay. Why'd you stop? That was me kidding, by the way. I understand bacon is nut free. And people in the household may change. Interests change. You may have decided it gets too smoky that way. Oh, there we go. I wasn't even paying attention. I was just talking. And you said exactly, yeah, pork ticks over. I would think it would be sort of a mess, considering the andouille or whatever else you're putting in there. Whatever peppers. None of that's all gonna go great. But even without you putting sausage in there, you're still doing Trinity. You're still doing green pepper. Last 8.
How are you not bubbling yet? I guess because I didn't have a lid on top of you this time. That I should have. I guess I gotta put on my list how to permanently disable autofocus on Brios. Like, there's gotta be some sort of setting in the BIOS or something. Not in the BIOS, but registry. And I gotta oil up my counter now after using my pasta cutter on it because it puts marks in my counter. Need to get you back to bubbling. And I think I'm going to mix up a little butter and flour to thicken this up. That had egg in it. I know it had egg in it, but I'm not worried about it. So we're gonna knead our butter into the flour until the flour comes entirely mixed in with the butter. And it no longer looks dry. I'm getting flour all over everything because I don't want to move all the pasta. Alright, now that we got this all nicely mixed all together, there's nothing but butter and
there's nothing but dough now. There's no separation between the two. This we can use sort of like a roux to thicken up the sauce. But we do want to whisk it in too. See if that thickens things up. There we go. That lightly thickened it up. Hush drain. And then I'm going to whisk in a bit more. Lucky. Just hit my foot. The whisk flipped out. I looked at my back. I expected my back. Oh, I got a little bit on the back of my leg. Got a little bit on the back of my leg. That glossed things up nicely, even though there was already a decent amount of fat in there. But that butter just makes everything better. It's across the board. Time to pull out the Mimolette. Actually, maybe we're a little early on that. But I'll show it to everyone. This is Mimolette, chat, if you haven't seen Mimolette before. It's a French cheese. We seem to like occasionally banning it, depending on politics with France. Is one of the major ones that they tend to ban. And the reason they tend to ban it is the crust. This crust is created by cheese mites. In other words, when they first start aging this cheese, this is an 18-month aged cheese, they coat the outside of it in cheese mites. And they allow them to grow, and think mites, that same sort of like a look. They look sort of like fly larva, but they go through and they munch on the outside of the wheels of cheese and create this dried texture. Been used for centuries. Like, there is no signs that this is in any way harmful to us, but because there's insects potentially in the rind of this,
They do kill or age off most of them, but there's still a little bit left. We keep getting into fights with France over whether it can be imported or not. I know like 5 or so years ago, there was a period there where we couldn't do it. Well, maybe it was even longer ago, but they had banned it, and you'd seen some American ones pop up that were trying to do similar things without the mites. As to the cheese itself, I would say it's sort of like a cross between a cheddar and a Parmesan. It's a hard-aged cheese, but it's an orange cheese with a little bit closer to cheddar notes. It certainly doesn't have the Parmesan flavor. I mean, it's aged. It's going to be somewhere in that same department, but it's not the same thing. Oops. Turn the flame down a little bit on the ragu and just let that cook. Why aren't we boiling yet, water? Chat's waiting on you. Green bell, red bell. Really? You put red bell in there? Just for color, okay. Well. What we got going on? Why you no boil? You're at full flame. Just not there.
Let's see what we got for flavor. Let's see what a ragu tastes like. Still a beautiful color on that. Salt. Mucho salt. That's beautiful. Now I'm tasting the tomato in there. Now I'm getting a little bit of the depth. Hey, Venomous Shadows, welcome. For anyone just joining in, we've made all sorts of pasta tonight. We've made a duck ragu out of the leftover duck. And then we're going to be cooking the pasta, adding the pasta with the ragu, and then finishing it with a French cheese. Hi, Mimikyu. Mimikyu? Mimikyu? Not sure how to pronounce that one. But welcome. Thank you for joining us. And we're mostly just hanging out waiting for the water to heat up so that we can put most of this together. Hopefully it was a good day at work for you, Shadows. Hope everyone had a good day at work. How many people started back at work today? How many start back tomorrow? There we go. Now we're starting to bubble. Ooh, until Wednesday. Whole week off. How do we transfer all of these? I think we're going to go with a bowl. I want to put them all in there at roughly the same time. I don't think they're going to stick. Especially if they're just in here for a couple moments. Since we're using a giant pot of water, we have to do the obligatory seasoning of salt to it, even though I don't think it really helps. And we'll add our pasta in. feel like we should be breaking out into some sort of Tears for Fears song right now. Maybe Blue Man Group?
Pasta's looking decent. Getting close, starting to bubble up. They're starting to rise.
Just hoping I can get the bottom of that pot dirty. Be a bit.
Buttery pasta. Turn the Ragu temp off. Turn the water temp off. We go with, I think we're going to toss the pasta with this. Yeah, I think we're going to toss Ragu with pasta. We're going to toss it.
If I wasn't worried about splashing it everywhere, I would toss this like I did the pasta. That's going to be too much steam. I guess you hang out on top of there. And cut the crust off. But we want to stay as close to the non-crust as we can. And then we're just going to grate it all in one spot. I wish I had a tool to make the nice flat shavings of cheese. That would be lovely with this. freeze-dried basil. Thank you for the follow. Pepper. Why aren't you opening can? There we go. And then hazelnut. There we have duck ragu with homemade pasta, mimolette, and hazelnut oil. Can't figure out which way's up. Nice. I think I'm going to enjoy that. Appreciate that, John Ray. Thank you, Master of Splits. Do you think that's where we're going to leave things for tonight, though? Thank you, Mustang. See if we can't send all you lovely people off to go hang out with someone else here. I think we're going to raid out tonight. I have not raided this person before, but we're going to go say hi to Tearberry. They're working on holiday cookies. They're doing a cosplay. They're co-streaming with someone else. Or at least they were. So I hope you enjoy hanging out with them. I hope they have a chill stream for all of you to enjoy. I will be back here tomorrow night. We're doing soup and bread tomorrow night. Gonna be doing breadsticks, gonna be doing a white bean and harissa stew. Even though there's no meat, we're calling it a stew. That is the plans for tomorrow. I hope you come back to join me for that. If not, I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you get back home safe if you're not home yet from the holiday. And wish you the best into the week. Good night, folks. Let me raid.